What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another minimalism video. In today's video, this is all for beginners, anybody who's interested in minimalism and they kind of are feeling a little overwhelmed and they don't really know where to start. I have 5 tips for beginners who are interested in incorporating more minimalism into their lives. So let's get right into it. Tip number 1, don't stress and get very clear about your intention. So the biggest question you should be able to answer is why? Why minimalism? What about it is really kind of appealing to you? What's making you drawn to it? And that will help you create a vision and kind of something to sort of like anchor the direction that you're going in, if that makes sense. So once you have that purpose and that vision and that intention of, you know, maybe you just want to simplify your life. Maybe you actually want to clear out your home and have more space. Whatever the case is, you really need to get clear about that, because that is absolutely going to help you in those tougher moments when you start going through drawers and you feeling that feeling that we all have, especially when we're starting out, of like, I don't know if I really need, like, I don't want to get rid of this, or like, you know, some people can actually end up getting a little panicky when it comes to having to part ways with their things. So before you even get into decluttering, just having a clear vision and an intention of why you even want to start incorporating minimalism into your life will go a long way in helping you start incorporating more techniques related to minimalism. It'll just make it a little bit easier. Tip number 2, on the topic of decluttering, start with a really small space first. Trying to think of actually decluttering your entire home all in one go is completely overwhelming and completely unnecessary. Don't do that to yourself. Start with something really, really small, whether it's a medicine cabinet in your bathroom or just, you know, kitchen cupboards even. That's a really great place to start, actually, is just clearing out your refrigerator, your kitchen cupboards, because a lot of times we've got, you know, stuff in the back of cupboards that we haven't eaten in years, and it's a lot easier to justify throwing out expired food or stuff that's in there that you haven't been using in a long time, just to get the momentum going and get the feeling of like, wow, I just like my bathroom, the bathroom cabinet looks amazing right now. I can see where everything is. There's gross stuff in there that's been in there for God knows how long, that's in the garbage and gone. And then you start to get this feeling of like that relief that comes with getting rid of things and actually decluttering. So starting really, really small is just a lot easier and a lot less overwhelming. Tip number 3, this one might be a little bit obvious, but it is break the habit of shopping. And more specifically, it's break the habit of needless, mindless shopping. So, or the impulsive kind of buying that a lot of us are guilty of. So even you could challenge yourself to even 30 days if you think you could do it, where you just buy only the absolute bare essentials, like obviously things like food and stuff like that, but not going into clothing stores, not online shopping. That's something that, you know, a lot of people are really guilty of. And what they end up doing is bringing a lot of unnecessary stuff into their homes, which adds to the clutter that they already have. So it's an obvious tip, but it's a really, really good one, and it can really pave the way for a lot better habits in the future. Tip number 4, create one clutter-free zone. And this can be a very, very small area in your house, like a kitchen table or like the kitchen counters, your desk, or even just like your counter in your bathroom, like your, you know, your area that you might get ready in the morning. Something like that that's really manageable. It's not too daunting, and just keep it clutter free for even 30 days. Give it a shot, see how it feels, and start to just get a sense of like what it feels like to have one area that's got no clutter in it, that you've kept clean. And that feeling will often give you the momentum to want to continue that and start to declutter other areas of your house. You'll have that inspiration and that motivation to keep wanting to do it. And last but not least, tip number 5 is shifting your perspective on your attachment to things. So this is something that all of us are more or less guilty of to some extent, but especially in Western culture, we really kind of seem to derive our value and our worth with our possessions, whether it's a handbag or different status symbols, having, you know, new outfits all the time, shoes, whatever it is. It could literally be anything. It might even be, you might be somebody who has an obsession with home decor, right? So it's not always clothing or cars or handbags or stuff like that. It might actually be things that you're bringing into your actual house. So it doesn't really matter what it is. It's more about changing the perspective that we have to our things and knowing that we are enough as we are. Our things do not define us. Our things do not determine how much value we are worth. And I think that that is one of the major keys to minimalism, is not having such a strong attachment to any of your possessions. And once you can really release that, the freedom you get from that is tremendous, and it allows you to continue to declutter your life more and more and more, because you don't have that attachment to all of your possessions the same way you did when you were somebody who had a lot of things, or you were shopping all the time, or you were feeling like, I need this, I need that. Whether, again, it could be anything, it could be makeup. You know, there's so many different things that, you know, we feel like we need to have. And so when you can kind of release that and get rid of that and know that you just don't need those things, it's very freeing. So those are my 5 tips for anybody beginning minimalism who's interested in incorporating more minimalism into their lives. I hope that was useful for you guys. If you guys have other tips, absolutely feel free to leave them in the comments. I would love to see them, and I'm sure other people would love to see them as well. And that's it for today's video. I'm going to be putting out a lot more content on minimalism in the coming days and weeks, so please be sure to stay tuned. And if you're interested in these topics, definitely be sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.